What's up, you guys? I come to y'all with a very special R&D or RD. I don't know why I say R&D, but anyway, I'm your host, Cartier Bomb, and this is my very first full panel of women when it comes to relational dynamics. So this session, we're kicking off something a little different. We're questing on bridging the gap and having holistic conversations on why dating and relationships are on attack. So I think it would be great because, you know, we have a lot of male energy, a lot here time. We start with the women first. So to get things going, to have some ice breaking, I'm curious. We got a game.
Oh, good Lord.
Start us off. We're going to be playing green, red, and pink flags. So for viewers, I'm going to throw at them some date ideas I got from some fellas. And if they think it's a good idea and it was a date they will go on, they'd be like, green flag. Obviously, if it's a poor date, it's a red flag. And then sometimes some dates be in the middle. And then a little pink flag, a little warning. It could be, we don't know how they feel about it. But I'm going to let them use the flags at their leisure. Please be as animated as you would like. So before we even get to our game, I think we got to know who are lovely, intelligent, beautiful, and just downright great people who are on our panel today. I'll start going to them. I left.
I'm just kidding. Well, I'm Kay. If you know me on Instagram, it's West Coast Kay. Born and raised in Portland. I don't live here anymore, but I've forever rep Portland. I live in Vegas now. I'm 27. I'm self-employed. I do Turo, brand ambassador, model. I'm now a small business consultant. Nice. So if you have a small business and you need some discounts, hit your girl up. I got you. Nice. But no, and I'm a God-fearing woman.
Okay.
Come on, kid.
Hey.
I'm a Capricorn, if y'all wanted to know.
You know, that's a cool little segue because I'm a Capricorn. My name is Ashley, also Portland native, born and raised. And I'm so excited for what I have right here with me because I always shout out how I work at Capital Nails. I tell y'all if y'all want to come get something done, come to us. Go ahead, take it away.
I'm Agnes, and I am the owner of Capital Nails.
The owner.
I don't like saying that.
We love that. We love it.
But yes. Ashley and I work together, and I love it. And I also work with my family. Huge. And we've been open for 20 years. So come see us.
Yes.
Think of us when you think of nails.
Yes.
Also born and raised in Portland, too.
Got Portland natives in the
Yes.
Portland natives. Ain't nothing like them Portland girls.
I'm so happy to be here with these beautiful Capricorn ladies. Because I'm a Capricorn.
Yes.
Send help.
Send help. A whole topic about Capricorn.
Astrology?
Astrology, yes.
Red flag.
That's part 2.
red flag.
So, let's get into this. I'm curious. So, I got a good amount of messaging. So, I'm just curious from the bottom of y'all hearts, whether y'all agree or disagree. This is from the community of fellas. So,
Lord.
first date that we have for red flag, green flag, and that is museum and wine. Would you classify as a green flag, red flag, or a pink flag?
That's so green.
Yeah.
This is green all around.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a,
Like
that's a good
OMSI?
thing.
Like,
It just said museum.
okay.
Just museum.
It says just museum.
I'm down for OMSI. I love OMSI.
Yeah.
The Portland Art Museum has definitely upped it a few notches too. And there's so many small like little museums and galleries in Portland right now.
Yeah.
Listen, we're planning a date right now. Listen, you see this?
Right. If this is your sign, to take that lady to museum and wine.
Ooh,
Yes.
bars.
Okay.
Green. Yeah.
No, that's a good date. That's
Okay.
That's a good date.
Usually if you have watched these before, I do a good amount of talking, but like, you know, I can't transform, you know, into a woman, but
I mean, you can nowadays.
I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. But I'll just say this: I want to, definitely really like get into the minds, because even though you guys aren't monolithic, it's just really good to like have this energy. So interesting on that. So the next one.
I can already tell this is not good.
Next one. Ice cream.
Ice cream?
Ice cream date.
Pink for me. I'm not.
Are we 12?
I'm not into ice cream like that, but
I'm lactose intolerant, so
that's not good.
yeah. You want me to have bubble guts later? Then I guess that's a thing. What do you think?
Oh damn!
Actually, I kind of went on an ice cream date before.
Okay.
And it was in the summer. We went to Salt and Straw. It was.
Was it a good date?
I feel like it was the equivalent to like a coffee date. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I feel like it's the equivalent to and it was obvious. Like, I'm just vetting him out and he just vetted me out. So it was a cute, cheap way to, if I really gotta go, if I really want to end this, it's going to get ice cream. It's not a whole lot of moving pieces involved. It's all right. It was cool meeting you. Bye. Like
It's super casual. I've had like dates at Jamba Juice. I wouldn't even call it a date. We were just like getting together, right? And
yeah, it's like a link up. Like
It's a link up.
It's a link up. It's not a date. It's a link up.
Yeah. So
That's
ice
like
cream
a-
is
it's
a
a
link
short-
up.
Actually, so does that count as red or is it pink? Because it's not even a date. It's a link up.
Yeah. It's a red for me.
Oh.
It was pink.
I'm saying
but now
pink.
it's a red.
I'm gonna stay pink.
Okay.
This just took
It's a link up.
turn.
Okay. I'm glad we're having these conversations, even though they're not our main topics. But it's interesting just hearing that. I'll just say this: the reason why I didn't want to be like first date, because I just wanted to hear just from like fellas about their ideas. Where like for me, I think just hearing this, where I'm kind of like, for me, getting to know somebody, where it's kind of like me personally. Privileges like we're going to what do you call it, roof Chris and all that other stuff. That's like perk 15. I'm just trying to vet you, get to know you. So it's almost kind of interesting hearing y'all just say like, that's childish. Or I'm just kind of like, that's a great way to talk to you. But interesting.
It's a link up, and then from there you can ask me on a formal date.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I wouldn't call it a date. It's just like an interview for a
Eat
date.
ice cream fast.
Chaos
You're
loves
done
ice
eating your
cream.
ice cream. You're like, so now what? We just ate our ice cream. Now what do we do?
Like further plans.
So okay,
You
so
get
if
more
it
ice
was
cream.
like let's go to Sweet Pine, or have you guys heard, or Sugar Pine is what it's called. It's in Tualatin. It's cute. You drive out there. It's in like this scenic foresty like area. Like it's an adventure. You know, like it's a process. Like let's go get ice cream there. Okay, that makes sense. But let's just go to Salt and Straw on Alberta Street. Let's just link up and vet each other.
Yeah. Can I just add that it could possibly be the beginning of something? You know, it could be like, let's get ice cream and then we'll go for a drive and then maybe we'll get some food because we'll be hungry. You know?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call it like a whole ass date.
Yeah.
Like it's a start of something. It's a good start.
Yeah.
I'll
maybe.
just say this. It's just interesting talking to other dudes where it's kind of like, for me personally, not to like brag, I feel like I do great dates. And I have some future content coming out about how guys should be planning dates. I feel like when you do a date, it should be a story. Obviously,
Yeah.
Yes.
it's a
Green
story.
flag.
Yes.
Ah.
This is a green flag right here. It's a green flag.
And it's all about like, why is this ice cream important? Where it's kind of like, yes, you shouldn't take someone to just get salt and straw, but like, what's the story? Oh, this salt and straw was like, I'm thinking the one on Alberta, there's like some of the kids make like special like salt and straws, and it's in there. I'm like, oh, if you add that, then it adds the flair to the date. But that's a whole nother. Anywho, next date. I got two more for y'all. Okay. And the list goes on. I have more content of this, but this one was Netflix and chill.
What in the
Yo, I saw that on your Instagram. I saw somebody
this?
said that.
Do you want this?
What?
Wave it, girl.
No.
Oh, absolutely
No.
not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe when I was younger.
Back when you didn't know, better.
No, I am not above. No.
Yeah.
Okay. How
I've
about
had
this?
those days.
Because remember, he said it's not a first date, right?
Right.
So, in the context of already being in a relationship, yes, I think then it can be a green flag. You know, y'all both busy. Let's just make it do what it do real quick.
But if you just
expose
call
my whole
someone
life
on a late night Netflix and chill, no, that's not a date. That's you just
Went up real fast.
we know what it is. Like it's more chilling than actually Netflix.
You know.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do this last one.
Okay.
This last one, then we'll cap it. Oaks Park roller rink.
Oh, green.
Yeah.
That's so cute. I love roller skating personally.
Okay.
Yeah, I have like great nostalgic memories with it. My aunt used to take us when we were young, and then I take my little cousins, and I told them to take my kids. You know, it's like almost like traditional.
Yeah.
So it has a special place in my heart for it. Yeah.
And it shows a lot about character. I mean, you can learn a person, of course, through conversation, but you know, Oaks Park roller skating. If that person falls, or if you fall, or if you're just struggling, or you listen, it shows
a type of vulnerability, right?
exactly
Yeah.
on both parties.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
like
so-
not afraid to look silly or goofy, and a reason to hold hands. You know,
It builds
It's cute.
intimacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so crazy. Okay, write that down. It's an intimate thing.
Yeah, write that down for your next date. Add it to the list.
Yes.
I appreciate. I field all opinions and suggestions. I really do. So I think this actually segues us into our first topic, and that is, in this day and age, how would you all define relationship fulfillment? And I know you're all both at various different stages in relationships, and I kind of really like this spectrum we have going on here, where it's kind of like, yeah, how would you define relationship fulfillment?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm actually married. Well, engaged, basically married. So
I thought you were doing this. I was
Oh
like,
no! I don't know about her
just
life.
married.
No,
No,
gang.
I'm literally married, right? But anyways, yeah, it's different. It's different from when I was, you know, like single and dating to being in a long-term relationship. Now it's so much more than that. And my fulfillment now is, my need for fulfillment is different, you know, like it kind of goes in like a 360 circle, because I feel like for me to feel like more fulfilled, I need a lot more freedom. Whereas a lot of, when I was like in a like that long-term kind of, you know, timeline, I needed more intimacy and like security. But now that I feel like I've gotten more of that, I need to have more freedom to go out and do what I want to do, and to have you trust me to do what I want to do, and vice versa, right? Just so, yeah, kind of like separate ourselves a little bit more as individuals. But my friend said something really profound, and I feel like I'm going to mess it up, but she said maybe it's not about two halves coming together, but two wholes becoming one. And I thought that was like the most beautiful thing. I had to write it down in my journal, and she signed it and everything. But it's true, right? It's two whole people coming together, and not so much like completing each other. You guys just make each other like a super person, or you know what I mean, like group, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's actually really beautiful. I just based off of your answer, it just sounds like I would say relationship fulfillment is a person you can literally do life with. A person who, as your wants and needs change and their wants and needs change, you guys can, you know, still be that for each other, evolve as life and relationships evolve. So that's what I would describe it as, a person that you can just evolve with.
Yeah.
You guys give really good answers, and I'm like the last person. I'm like, oh my god, now it's up to me to give a good one. Just to kind of piggyback off what you guys said, I am very I'm spiritual. I'm not really religious, but I'm spiritual. So if we can have a spiritual fulfillment connection, like I pray for you, you pray for me, that's important. Because for me, I don't want to be with somebody if God isn't in the center of your life. You know, like that's incredibly important to me. As long as we, you know, support each other's dreams, like we're a team, but we're individuals at the same time. You know, so that's what I see it be fulfillment. I give you freedom. You give me my freedom to be who I am, but we trust each other. We're secure in our relationship, and yeah, I think that's my answer.
How long have you been with your guy?
Almost 2 years.
Yeah, so you're in that long term.
Yeah,
phase.
we met literally as soon as I got to Vegas.
Oh.
I moved out there to get away from like a bad situation with someone I wasn't even with, and then I met him, and it was just like, oh man, it was just instant. And we actually met once, didn't see him for like 2 weeks, met a second time, and then since then we've been with each other ever since.
Been locked in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, because I promise you I'm gonna do a lot more listening. It's just very interesting because I don't know where like I don't know how you all in your social media feeds for this kind of like I see the toxicity of like people trying to figure out what fulfillment is, and it comes out as this I'll say it's a lot of ego when it comes to like what relationship fulfillment looks like. And that's why I kind of want to do these panels, because it's kind of like I feel like we're all individually saying the same thing. It's just like when it's crossing that moat of communication, it's like, why is it not reaching that we both want the same things? And then you get a lot of content where it's like men versus women, men ain't shit, women ain't shit, all this other, and whoever clips that is a bastard. Because they're gonna clip like Robert hates women. Of course I do, but it's just kind of like I've done this type of show, and I hear a lot from a lot of different people. It's almost kind of like, why do you think it's just so hard for people to like? It's like 1 + 1 = 2. Like, you want to be happy, I want to be happy. How do we make this work so we're both fulfilled?
People make it too complicated. And I think people see relationships as like a status symbol, something to brag about. And I think when you really put it out there and bring people into your business, that's when it can start to crumble. Like, you don't, no offense to anyone that posts their boyfriend or husband or spouse every single post. Like, we get it, but it's like you know, you want to show your person off, but keep some things private. It's your relationship, not your relationship plus whoever follows you or your followers. They're not in your house every day. They're just following you, watching you. Once you put it out there, then they're going to have an opinion on what they see. And they may not know like what the structure, the foundation of that relationship is, but they'll have an opinion on it. They're going to let you know. So that's what social media is. People do it all the time. Yeah. They post about celebrity relationships and that they don't know what happens behind closed doors, but they have an opinion about it.
Yeah, I think that's the problem is like everybody has an opinion. Everybody's so creative.
Everybody's so creative.
Shout out to my sister Bev.
Yeah, shout out to Bev for sure. But it's also people are moving further. Like as a society, we are moving like more into self and more into individuals, and there's not a like there's no anchor, like there's no foundation. So if we have an anchor or foundation, then it's easier for us to come together, to work together, to agree on, you know, what fulfillment is, what it looks like, and just to be aware when the ego is being the enemy and where the ego is actually being the helper. But because there's no foundation, there's no anchor, everyone is, you know, right and it's superficial. You know, everybody knows all the great theories, but their practice is
what would that anchor look
trash. Well, I believe it is not the same for all of us. I do believe it is important for us to all have some type of like belief that is bigger than ourselves, because then that is where community or unity can really be like built, you know. Yeah. But if you don't have some type of view or practice that is bigger than you and outside of you, and that compels you to be selfless in certain ways, then, you know, then your feed is going to look like Cartier Bob's.
Toxic relationships.
Toxic relationships.
No, I wasn't. I was like, where is this going? I was like, okay.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, because like when I think of like my partner and I, like we're now that like we've grown together to the point where we've like shed all the pleasures that you know connected us from the start. Our foundation is community and family. You know, that is something that we both hold very like dearly, and we can always agree on and fall back onto that when we're having like a tough situation. That's not to say like, you know, you should stay in a toxic relationship because of family or for the kids or whatever, but we just, you know, we always like have that the anchor, right, to fall back on and talk about what we want to do for our family and what we want to do for our community, and, you know, use that to build like our goals. You know, like my husband wants to build a temple for the community. He's Cambodian, you know, and so I always like go back to that whenever we like kind of are off track, if you would, you know, and it really anchors us down. And
I really do like that, where I think that's the I think that's the piece that gets kind of lost in all this, where I know we were like chit-chatting and talking a little bit, where it's like I think people shouldn't really start, like, in my opinion, like dating like super seriously until like maybe like end of like college, grad school, because, you know, you gotta have your fun, you gotta do that other stuff, because like I feel like the community aspect of like what a union is supposed to be is like missed. Not saying that you have to get married, but like once you are connecting with someone, like you're a part of the community, like you're a family. And I feel like people get away from that because they feel like they're missing out on like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this or like this, where it's kind of like, you know, is the human experience. And I'll just say this, I don't feel honestly, I don't feel there's not that many people in this world who really want to be alone.
Yeah, we're not meant to be alone. We're meant to connect and be with each other one way or another, you know? Yeah. Like, you can be a single person, but if you're a part of a community, you will never feel alone.
Exactly.
Actually, that's an excellent segue into my second question. That is, let's be honest. Let's cut the BS, right? The niceties. Are current relationship standards unrealistic? Because I'll just start it off. It is. Some of the things people are asking for, I'm just like, you want to be single with a sugar daddy and unlimited responsibilities, or vice versa.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not talking about. I'm just saying, or vice versa, or you want a chick who's going to just accept.
Yeah.
I want you. She's got to be okay with you having like 7 other wives. Now, in other places, that's fine, but let's talk about the West. But I'm just curious. So the question is, do y'all find today's relationship standards truly unrealistic or realistic?
A lot of it's unrealistic. It just depends on the person.
It does.
Like, it's all just personal preference, if that's what you want to call it. Like, I'll see a female type that, oh, I want a guy who makes 6 figures, who does this and works at Starbucks. It's like, you want a guy that makes this much money, why don't you do it yourself?
Yeah.
You don't need someone to do it for you. You're more than capable of going out there and making 6 figures on your own. Why do you want to bank off someone else's money? Because what happens if you guys break up? None of that stuff that you have is yours. You have nothing to your name. You are so dependent on one person. You have nothing now.
Yeah, I think that goes back to what you were saying about like relationship being a status symbol, Like it's nice to be able to post like luxurious things on your post. Like, oh, look what my boyfriend got me and blah, 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 But yeah, but I do agree with you. It really depends on the person. I am a nail tech. I've touched so many types of hands and people, different types of people. And we have clients who are poly, that brings in their sugar daddy and
daddies.
You know what I mean? Like, so I can see it. I can see how that can work for them. And honestly, they seem happy.
Oh yeah.
Like genuinely happy.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like there's an ounce of like manipulation or using him. Like it's all like very like,
an agreement.
Yeah, there's an agreement. Like, and I respect that,
That is
that
why,
works for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that's why I'll say I don't believe today's standards are unrealistic. Mm-hmm. I believe because of social media and the internet, everyone has been exposed to the possibilities of what a relationship can be and can look like.
Yes.
Now the downfall is people are not being real, like be effing for real. People are not being real with themselves.
Oh God.
So they try to place themselves like.
Yeah.
If people were to come to the nail shop and see, the dynamic between we have a few customers who are in poly relationships, but if someone was to come in and see the dynamic of this particular group, this particular throuple, they'd be like, oh man, I want that. I want a guy who did it. But it's like, be effing for real with yourself. Like,
You couldn't handle it.
you can't, yeah.
I'm laughing because I'm one of them. Because
Wait, for real?
no, because okay, so that's part of my superpower.
Not in the throuple,
right?
but wanting
dead
to.
ass?
No, so this is my superpower. Like I can put myself in anybody's like shoes,
Okay.
and like kind of like live through them like vicariously.
Yeah.
And I have even brought up this topic to my partner.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, it's really cool. They've been married for 25 years. And like, they both agreed to like, have an open marriage essentially. And like, he goes on a date and he comes home and tells her. And then,
they just talk like best friends. and
Yeah, they
stuff
just
like
talk
that.
like best friends. And I was telling my partner this and almost like entertaining it to him, right?
Yeah.
And glorifying it. And and then we got real.
And then be effing for real.
No, so we had, okay, I don't know, you've been in the relationship for, long
years.
enough
Yeah.
to, have you had like the talk about threesome? No.
I would never.
That's just against what you believe in, right?
I would no. I get we grew up being sharing is caring. No, it is not. Not in that aspect.
Like, not
That's
me.
the ego for her.
No, I'm not sharing nothing.
That's the ego.
Right.
That's the Scorpio moon right there.
That's
Possessive. That's mine.
yeah.
I
choice.
I picture myself in that situation and I just feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I couldn't even bring myself to try and find a person. But you want to?
Well, it's a real like
boyfriend?
topic of
No.
conversation in
Yeah.
long-term relationships,
Yeah, it is.
especially
Yeah.
in marriages. Like,
Yeah.
I've surveyed a lot of married people, and yeah, it's always come up. It has, and yeah, so we talked about it, and we're just like, okay, what would that look like? 2 guys, 2 girls, like really got down to the details.
Yeah.
And you know what happened at the end of this conversation? But I don't know if I'm ready to see you get touched by another person,
Right.
And then we're just like, I think we're good with each other. Like, but we entertained it and it was fun to think about.
I will say there's one person that I would have an exception for. It's very unrealistic. Kalani.
I knew it.
Okay.
I knew I was gonna
I've
say
heard
that.
that before.
Okay, can we do like a tangent? Like, who's your person? Like that, that your partner, the past. What do they call it? The person that your partner will let you sleep with?
Yeah, the pass, like hall pass.
Kalani?
Yeah.
Mine's the game. It's so funny, right?
That's a big dude right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta
sexy.
know.
The game is sexy.
He is.
He's so funny.
Oh
to
my
me.
God!
And
Yes.
He inboxed me
he
one
could put it
time.
down. And I've told my partner this multiple times. His is Jessica Alba, but we all have that person. But that's the thing about having a partner is like you should be able to have this conversation with them and be playful, and that's your friend. At the end of the day, like y'all should be friends, and and don't disrespect each other, and
Exactly. Which is why people need to be for real about who they, because there's so many people who are in relationships and they're in relationships with traditional standards, and it's like, bruh, that's baby girl, that's not really you, or like, bruh, that's not really like this.
You can handle it, bro. Stop.
You
that.
trying to do this traditional, bare minimum type standards, or the standards that was passed down, through your family and everything. And it's like that's not really you.
It's a good guideline. I'm not gonna
it's
lie.
for sure.
It's a guideline.
Yeah.
But, don't feel like you have to operate within that, And I did that for a long time, and especially when I had my kids. Like my son is 4, my oldest, and then my youngest is 2. And I was telling, me and Ashley talk about this all the time. Like, I feel like I just recently found myself again after 4 years, where because I come from a traditional like Asian Vietnamese household, and my husband is Cambodian, and he operates in a traditional way too. But at the same time, we're like American, so not completely, So yeah, for a long time, I was just like playing this role of what I was taught a woman should be, a wife should be, and I'm trying to do everything, and that shit burns you out so quick. But yeah, I'm so happy now, because now that I've chosen to be happy with myself and who I really am instead of who I think he wants me to be or who I should be, I'm a lot happier, and he's a lot happier because I'm happy, and I don't know, maybe you can speak on this, but because you're a man, but I really do believe like a man, at least with my man, he just takes on so much responsibility. Like when I'm unhappy, he feels like it's because of him, like he's doing something wrong. That's why I'm unhappy. And it just makes the whole relationship like feel like just moody and terrible all the time.
And that's why
you feel that way.
And it's so funny. See, great. This is why I had these people. Great conversation. We definitely have to talk about the third question. That I definitely is third question material. But to answer that, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, we're. I think because once again, I'm monolithic for most dudes, and obviously I can't speak for your husband. But I definitely think when it comes to like most guys and how I digest relationships, like they do put a lot of that on their shoulders. Where like we want you to be happy because like the old saying, happy wife, happy life. Yeah. But it's like for me at least, I've been at least in the job that I do, and then people I just talk to always say happy spouse, happy house, because you have to be happy, and that happiness has to come from within you, so you can pour that back into your life. Yeah. Now, I know this has been overused and gimmickized so many times, but like when you get on the airplane, you put your mask on first. Yes. Even if your kids, your grandma, all the other stuff, respectfully, because if you don't take care of you, you will not be holistically involved in the things that you really care about. Yeah. But I think what really comes to like really kind of ask that question is like, I think for men, it's like the world says one thing to us, and I'm just speaking from like a man of color, like a black man, where it's kind of like I'm expected to be all these things: the fantasy, the provider, the fixer, the consoler. And then I guess when it comes to me, where it's kind of like, all right, when I have some time for myself, can I get that relief? Yeah. Can I not be fully all together and you say that's enough? So I think that's a lot of things that men do go through. But I hope that answers your question, because I kind of want to tie in like the counterpoint for the people reviewing this, where it's kind of like, well, how would you respond if the guy was a 6-figure earner and he's like, we're living this type of life? Do your standards for like what y'all see as like fulfilling and things like that go out the window if this person is like what they call a man of high value, right? Where like he could do all the things. And I'm just curious from our conversation, does that influence what has been said if the person or the male or partner you're dealing with is like a 6-figure high earner influencing person?
I'd rather make 6 figures together. I'm not a 6-figure person yet. My boyfriend's not a 6-figure person yet.
Here we go.
We're building an empire together. Mm-hmm. And I think that's more fulfilling to me. Like, if I was single, I'm not the type of person to look for 6-7 figure man. I can just get it myself.
Are you asking, like, will it change, like, will it make the woman happier if the guy made more money? Mm-hmm.
All that. Well, a lot of the internet conversation is like if a guy, right, is a 6-figure earner or is a high value or can do a lot of things, or for example, like Chris Brown's getting different treatment from CB. Absolutely. Even though I'm the better CB, but it's almost kind of like, and my thing is, as a dude, I can acknowledge that that's there because of status, fame, but it's almost kind of like I'm looking at the middle bracket, because I always say that there's a war on middle class people, where it's kind of like this person who, like you said, works at Starbucks, 50K, hardworking man, gets overlooked because you don't own the bus, you don't own the bus company. So my thing is that a difference if that person is a high earner or not in this conversation?
Should be how about they treat you. That's all. How they treat you, how they care about you, help take care of you, love you. Like, even if it's someone that works at Starbucks could treat you better than some millionaire.
I think. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Because you could be with a 6-figure man, but if he's a abusive asshole, like, would you take it?
But he said high value.
Oh, high value. So he's like emotionally intelligent and all that, right?
The high value man, like the whole Kevin Samuels thing. They're typically not abusive. I don't know.
There's so many.
I guess I think, like, at least for me personally, like, I'm all about, like, growth. Like, if my man is a high value man, it would make me feel motivated to elevate myself to match up with him. Like what you're saying, you guys should be kind of equal in that sense. Like, because I like to be fair. Like, I don't want my man to carry more weight than me. Because there's a power imbalance also. But that's because, like, I'm all about, like, what's up?
Yeah, what's what?
I don't understand. Ashley, I was like, you just want to be taken care of. Is this conversation again? We were talking about, so Ashley and I have this conversation about,
because I'm sitting here and I'm listening to y'all and I'm like, yeah, no, like, what? No, high value, yes, thank you. Like, take care of me, yes, thank you. Princess me, yes, thank you. Like, because I don't believe we can ever truly be equal. Like, okay, dang, this is going on the internet, and this is going to, like, sound
not in terms of income, I don't think.
Well, but no, I think in income we can be equal, but I just believe, like, and this is all individual perspectives, right? Yeah. When it comes to relationships, and it's also because I have dated the 6-figure, low key 7-figure, the high value, the Kevin Samuels cookie. I'm borderline Kevin Samuels cookie cutter type of, like, I've been in these courtships.
Oh my god! You not just call it that.
I mean, that's what it is.
I've been in these and no, I love that. Like, I want that. Like, yeah, I already am a hard worker, and I can make my own, and I can, But if you're coming and you can take care of you're taking care of everything. If I can still keep my nail shop job and keep my nail shop income, but we're still living XYZ life, and your role and your load, I'm still going to have a load and a role. It's just not going to look the same. And because, so, like, when people say, what do you bring to the table, right?
Mm-hmm. I can't stand that question.
I know. And
I really can't stand that
and that's something that always comes up in, like, these conversations with high value men or whatever. But my response is like, I'm the reason the table exists. Like, in order to go out and make these figures, in order to like have these types of luxurious experiences and to indulge in pleasure, it's like you need that support. You need that, you need someone who's able to provide those intangibles. And that's what I do. That's what
You're different in a sense that if, say, it was another woman and a millionaire man be like, I'm gonna take care of you, and they just quit their job and all that, you're willing to still like, no, I'm still gonna work and do what I'm doing,
because my life still has to have a purpose. Kind of like how she was saying, like we are individual, like two wholes coming together. Now me and she can definitely break down more of the Capricorn thing than I can, but just me being a Capricorn, it's like we are driven, ambitious, like we have to do some type of work, like that. I can't just be pampered all every day. But oh my gosh, I love princess treatment. So yes, it is different from me being with someone who makes a certain amount of money opposed to somebody who's just trying to get, get up off the ground and I don't know, you gotta be some type of hustler or something. I can't. I'm not saying I can't do broke. I'm not, but I'm also,
no,
it's a little classism.
Personally, I see where you're coming from, and that's kind of what I was like alluding to in terms of like being equal, because you have to. Okay, the whole table thing, like there is a table, right? Like, and you do have to bring something to it, and like what you said, like as a woman, and this is coming from my traditional like values, right? Like, if you do decide to quit your job, like for me, when my partner makes that money and I'm able to quit, I'm going to stay home and I'm going to do what I have to do. Like cook, clean, take care of the kids, things that needs to be done regardless, and that's what I would bring to the table. And to me, that is just as valuable as the income that he's bringing in.
Exactly.
I don't necessarily mean that like I should make as much as him. I mean, it would be nice, but like with the Capricorn like influence, I do need to have a goal and to work on it. Yeah. And it would be nice to have a partner that's just as ambitious, or at least supportive, because like you need to, it needs to be somewhat equal for me, I guess, to feel comfortable, I guess, because I don't want to feel like I'm just mooching off of my man,
I want to say I appreciate this conversation because I feel like this conversation is not had in the most respectful way, where it's kind of like, I hope you both, not both, you all are sharing just how you feel and how you want to get it, because I think that to me honestly is like what, like, and I know I'm speaking for all the guys, because like when I have the guys panel on, I'm gonna make sure I'm speaking up for the women. We're gonna be like, all right, we gotta make sure we thinking about what they think. Where it's kind of like, I think it's most guys' innate ability that they want to provide, and that they do want to do those things. It's just like because we gotta look at the social media era where it's kind of like 100K, a lot of people ain't making that. So it's like, for me, sometimes I think where it's like, do they not deserve to be chosen? Right. And my thing is, because I get it, where it's kind of like, if you making like 50, 60 and you're ambitious and you like that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about someone that doesn't have any ambition, where it's kind of like, I think that's the part where kind of like, I think we miss in the conversation, where it's kind of like,
100%.
I know we were talking about like, how is our relationship going to go from like a, can we introduce like a threesome or anything like that? But it's almost kind of like, what are your parameters around like, hey, this is where I'm going to be at. Like, are you cool with that? And I feel like that gets missed, and that's insinuated a lot, where I don't think there's any issue or problem with it. Where like, yeah, I can get into the facts and break it down, where it's kind of like, people who are over 6 feet tall, if that's your starting requirement to date someone, you just knock down 80% of the people that you think are eligible. Whereas like, once again, I'm not going to hold any person who just like the person has to be 6 feet. You just carved out 80% of your pool.
Yeah.
Right.
80% of your pool. So I think that's why I want people to be more aware of. So that's why I enjoy this conversation where it's kind of like I'm learning a lot, because what you want is very important. I'm not saying you're not going to get that. I'm not going to tell you that. Who am I to say that? I'm not. Exactly. I think it's just like the more awareness, like when we sex education, the more you know, the better you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I actually had this conversation this morning with my young client. She's 20 years old. And I was just like, I'm a nail tech. I just talk a lot. But I was like, okay, if he was rich, took care of you, emotionally intelligent, what do you, high value man,
Yeah.
but he was butt ugly, would you do it? Like sex was on point, everything.
And he's a 2, but
10 everywhere else, like, would you do it? And she's 20, so it's really fun to like see their perspective, and she's like butt ugly, like butt ugly. I'm like, yeah, like so ugly you don't want to bring him around, kind of thing,
Embarrassingly.
Yeah, but we compromise and say yes, we would, because you can always do plastic surgery. But then she was like, well, what if we have kids? Genetics is a bitch.
She better pray to God the kids look like her.
Right? It was just a really funny conversation to have, like. But and I also say, like, it's like it really depends on where you're at in life. Like, if you're 20, if I'm 20, I'm like, I might not want to settle for that, because, but if I'm 40, hell yeah, I'll settle for that, like. And depends on your, where you're at in life.
And I really appreciate you saying that, where it's kind of like, I think that's where I'm at, where it's kind of like, and I'm thinking about like men and women. You're 40 and you're like, yeah, Usher really gonna be talking to me. You got it bad, don't you? So it's kind of like, I think for me, it's like the delusion, because you're a rational person, you're a rational person, you're a rational person. I just feel like there's so much smoke screen between of like, I think you can literally get exactly what you want. I think my friend Jasmine, she was saying this, I feel like everyone wants everything at once, but that's not going to happen. You're only going to get some of that. And my thing is, some of that doesn't mean you're going to settle. Some of that means you're going to get it when, I don't say you can handle it, but it's going to come in pieces,
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you didn't like the business you had, like, I bet you're reaping some of that all is right in your hands. And I know this is not the end. It's like, do you stop? No, it's kind of like, you're not all going to have it all at once,
Yeah, it's just about like growing, right? And I've always said that like having a business is like having a child, right? Like the first couple of years is going to be so hard. You're going to be like broke, staying up all night type shit, and then what did they say? Like the average is like 5 years is when a business starts running, and literally 5 years old, a toddler, right? That's when they start being able to feed themselves. And, so I really see the parallel between the two, and you kind of have to treat it like that. Like a lot of people, like some people take the profit from their business and they spend it on themselves, whereas you should really be putting it back into your child, right? And investing into your child, So same thing with relationships, right? If you want more, you have to feed it and grow it, or else it's just going to stay wherever you're at, if you keep on taking it from it,
So true. Can I give another example, just kind of like going off your business? So Turo, right? We all know what Turo is, right?
Yeah.
So we have like we have a few cars, but one of
actually,
them is
really quick, sorry to interrupt you. Can you actually break that down just in case people who are viewing it do not know?
Yeah. So Turo is an app where it's car sharing. You put your own cars and people rent them, which it gives you more leverage to look for a specific type of car instead of going to like Hertz. They choose the car for you. Yeah, exactly. And you can set your own prices. They can come pick it up from your house, or you can deliver it. There's a lot that goes into it. So Turo, we have a 2014 C7 Corvette. Nice car, right? It's probably our best car that we have right now. And so we kind of split the responsibilities in half. I talk to the guests, I greet them, we meet them. You know, if there's any problems, they talk to me.
Yeah.
He handles the cleaning because he mobile details.
Oh, nice.
Cleaning, any maintenance that needs to be done to the car. I don't know how to do all that, but he does. So it's a very like equal thing that we do, and we balance it like very well. But like, say I'm somewhere, I can't meet the guest, he'll do it. Or if he's busy doing a job and the car needs to be cleaned, I got it. I know how to detail a car just from learning from you. I'll take care of it. So it's a very just like, we share our own responsibilities, but it's a very collective type of thing. Or like, I'll cook tonight. I'll cook, you do the cleaning type thing. Like, it's never, I do this, I cook, I clean, blah, blah. We both do all these things together. It's very beautiful.
Maybe I'm just in that's the world that I think I should live in. I feel like that's why I'm on this planet, to get it back into shape. Now, I want to end this off with this. Now, I saw a very interesting clip, and this question really comes from a lot of the things that I am seeing. Now, once again, I'm not going to interrupt. I'm just very curious. Okay. And nobody's a villain. We're all learning. Even myself, I'm not a master. So the question is, I have for us to end this off tonight. Robert, you're going to cut that part. Yeah. Ladies, what do you define as an emotional, intelligent guy?
What do we define, or what do we find?
No, what do you define as an emotionally intelligent guy?
Okay, so I'm just not for, and I know this is so huge because social media, but like, I'm just not for personal definitions of things that have actual definitions that are written in a dictionary, you know? So like, in order for any person, regardless of gender, to be emotionally intelligent, like it requires like self-awareness and self-regulation and being aware of emotions and being aware of your emotions and another person's emotions. And so, you know, I whatever the dictionary says is the definition, like that's what I say. Because like you know, like I do see this on other like YouTube channels, podcasts, or like those other type of podcasts we were trying to think of, but we couldn't think of the names. But like those type of podcasts,
toxic ones.
Yes, like they bring emotional intelligence is such a buzzword, and they bring it up, and it's like, yo, you blowing me, because that's not even like, let's actually get to the actual topic at hand. You talking about some other stuff, and that's giving you a reason to bash women, and you ain't even, you know. But that's I digress. Yeah.
Oh, I'll definitely tell y'all where this is coming from, but I'm just curious. I'll definitely.
No, I agree. I think it starts with self-awareness, and that's why I was saying like my answer was like someone who listens and asks questions, because that is a sign of awareness. Right?
Yeah. And it could also be a sign of self-regulation, which is also a part of emotional intelligence. Just checking the temperature, because they need to know, should they go higher, should they go lower, should they stay neutral?
Right. And you got to start somewhere, right? Like nobody's going to be like super emotionally intelligent like off the bat, like
unless you're me. No, I'm playing.
Joking.
Somewhere.
Started earlier than us, maybe, but that's one thing I do love about you, though. I've learned so much just hanging around her, honestly. Like, it's true. But yeah, it starts with just awareness and just wanting to know. And, you know, like for like my partner and I, like, I noticed, like, I've only had like really 3 relationships, and the one thing that they all have in common is that I find that at least the men that I've talked to, maybe they're not high value men, I don't know, but they just like sometimes don't have the vocabulary to express themselves. You know, and it really depends, right? Like who they're surrounding themselves with. And so like I do find myself having to teach my partner how to express himself, you know, and also out of love translate things that he says to me, like out of anger or whatever. Like I've literally had to pause and be like, okay, do you mean to say this? Is that what I'm getting? He's like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, no, that's not what you said at all. But because I love you, I translated for you. But you know what I mean? Like, and that's what it is like love is about like being like choosing happiness, right? Because I could have easily like chosen to be right, and attack his ass and be like, no, you fucking called me a bad mother, you know? But I know what you're saying. You just want me to spend more time with my kids, right?
Reading
oh my
between
God.
the lines.
Yeah, I am a great mother, by the way. I do spend time with my kids.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
Wow,
not a deadbeat
cut that shit
mom.
out.
This was
Cut that
just
part
an
out, okay?
example. That is all.
Do you want me to cut that? I can cut it if you would like.
No, can I just explain myself real quick? But he was just basically saying like, I have one day off and sometimes I take that one day to run my errands and maybe do hair instead of nails. Like I'm just always on the grind. And he's just like, you have one day off. Like I wish you would just like, basically I'm translating for him. I wish you would prioritize your time, like the kids with the time that you do, the limited time that you have. I'm like, yes, you're right. I should, but yeah, but he did not say it that way.
Okay, so this is where this comes from. So this question comes from, and so I was watching this video for the podcast, and this guy, right? They were like, all right, the ladies were asking, when's the last time that you guys cried? So guys gave some like blah, 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 like, I'm really not going to tell you answers, but like typical guy shit. Okay. And one of the guys was like, my friend just died, and like, I'm still like trying to get over that. And like, he gets emotional. Yeah. And then they did the girl thing, like, oh, come here, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So it's a ranking show. So they would rank the guys at the end, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you watch the whole video, he did say some other like middle like sus stuff, but like all the girls ranked him last. And it was literally
for being emotional?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I read the comments.
That's a red flag
on the
for
girls.
those girls.
Yes.
That's a red.
Shame on you for shaming him.
We're all human. We all have feelings. Like, why is it because they're male that they can't cry?
I sent you the link to the video on Google Drive if you want to share. Thank
That's
you.
why he's the greatest.
I know. So I'm just
ranking over time.
So I'm just curious because that's not the first time, because it's like social like things that we've learned where like when we do show emotions that is like a turnoff. And I'm just curious what y'all think. That's why I'm asking the question, like, what kind of emotional guy or like women asking or saying that's attractive. So I guess that's the part that I'm like curious with, because men have this conversation of like, I'm not going to show this person emotion because as soon as I show them emotion, they're going to use that against me. And then that makes them think I'm weak.
Yeah.
Right. That's not even a guy thing. I do that shit too.
Ah, okay.
It's a person thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, my opinion, if you, I don't know, maybe I'm weird. But like, if
Come on, weirdo.
show emotions, yes. But if you're overly emotional, like, come on. Why are you crying?
Yeah.
Oh, why are you crying over everything?
Well, it goes
like,
back to what Ashley was
down.
saying, the self-regulating part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You need to not cry about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In that particular example, though, there has been a few clips that I've seen like of talk shows where it's either a son confronting a mom or a husband confronting a wife, or just I have seen videos where when a man is expressing, his frustrations or his sadness or things like that, I have seen things like the clip you're talking about, and that's because that's the be effing for real part once again, right?
Yeah.
Like, we do say, share your emotions, be vulnerable and things like that. But then the movies we choose to watch or the music we choose to listen to is music that contradicts that. It's like, no, don't be emotional, don't be sad, like be hard or be macho or be masculine, and yeah, we as women may have that strong front when people see us in public, but once again, the music we listen to and the movies we watch, it prepares society for like, expect a woman to cry, even though she doesn't break down and cry or be emotional. Like, expect for it to happen and then accept for it to happen. But there's nothing really pushing. I mean, I'm not gonna say there's nothing, because there are things, but what's the majority out there are not things that push for men to be expressive in that way. And so when they are expressive in that way, I truly believe, we as a large, not as individually, but as a larger group, we don't know how to actually receive it.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because it's not modeled, you know, for men to cry,
And then it's not modeled for us to really always receive or nurture or value that.
Yeah, no, you're right. I can see that. Because, like, my mom, she's like, she'll just be like, she will look down upon that on a man, because it, to her, is a sign of weakness, so, yeah, and that's something that's passed on culturally. But, I'm trying to change that with my kids. I have 2 boys, and, I make sure to cry in front of them, and, I cry like at least once a month. Just be crying.
I think we all do.
I think crying. Okay, you guys. Can I tell you guys a fact about crying? Okay, there's 3 types of tears. Okay. There's reflex tears. This is the tears you get when someone pokes you in your eye, right? There's the basal tear, which is what is just keeping your eyes moist right now, and then there's emotional tears, right? And the difference between emotional tears and the other 2 is that it has like 500% more like magnesium and all of these like other chemicals in it. It's like literally crying is good for you. It releases like toxins within your body. It's so important to cry, and I actually learned that in like one of my college classes, and I would never like forget it. And I tell people this all the time because it's so important to know that crying is good for you. And that's why we're programmed to cry when we feel like uncomfortable feelings, grief or whatever, sadness. You need to get that out because your body is creating all these like chemicals and toxins. Essentially, it's not good for you to keep it in. So yeah, it's important to like teach our boys. We may not be able to teach our men to do that, but we can teach our sons, and our nephews. And like Ashley said, it's about like teaching them how to be received when they do cry. It's like, it's okay to cry, like you can tell them that cool fact. Like it's like, I'm a total nerd. I love facts, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, teach them how to like be received when they do cry.
I do like you say that, but I do want to give you some slight pushback. I definitely think we can teach men. It's almost kind of like, for me, it's like, as a dude, if I'm walking the streets, and like I definitely like, obviously I'm not gonna get in people's business, but like if I see a woman in trouble or something like, or I think where I'm like, I think I should probably just watch, I'm gonna be like, hey bro, come on, stop doing that shit, like stop doing that. And I think there's always gonna be golden opportunities for all of us to teach men, boys, whoever, where it's kind of like, yo, like you're emotional, I'm uncomfortable with you being emotional right now. And like, I feel like stepping up to the plate to acknowledge that piece where it's kind of like, the working job is never done, where it's kind of like, I will forever learn from the women because I was made by a woman, Yeah. And it's almost kind of like just staying in that learning mindset where it's kind of like, a lot of these men, and I talk to them every day where they just have this feeling that they're never going to be understood. And like, I am like, I be like, yo, bro, I promise you that comment's coming where, like, I agree. Like, if a dude is like, every time being like, need to nut up or shut up. Right now. Exactly. But I feel
crazy.
Exactly. Like,
you look crazy.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the dude who is the grinder, who is providing, doing the thing where it's kind of like the world is saying a big F you. And like, you're my person. And like, I'm having this moment where it's like, it's not weakness. It's like, damn, shit is like, so
overwhelmed.
It's overwhelmed. Yeah. But
wait, can I ask you a question?
Oh, 1,010%.
When's the last time you cried?
Yeah.
Be honest.
Never.
Never.
Ooh, the lies we tell.
When's the last time I cried?
It doesn't have to be for any reason.
Yeah, you don't have to give the story. You can just give a ETA. You say like 3 weeks ago.
I can actually edit this out. Last time I cried, I'll say a month ago.
Okay.
Once a month.
This is good representation.
Were you on your period too?
That is hilarious. Now, I know.
Yes, keep this in.
No.
And this is why men don't say stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
You know?
kidding.
No, but out of the 3 types of tears, were they the emotional,
There's
the...
a release,
Were
right?
you cutting onions?
Yes. Yes. I was cutting a lot of onions and eating nails in cereal with no milk. Very tough.
Oh my gosh.
No, but no, I'll say about a month ago. I'll stand on that.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Oh, thank you.
We're all human. It doesn't matter for male or female. We're human.
Yeah.
With emotion.
We're that before we're anything.
1,010%. But no, couldn't. Did you have a follow up?
No, I don't. I just wanted to know because I'm nosy.
That's fair. I'm a bit nosy too. That's why I do a show. So I feel like vulnerability is trading. I feel like there's a lot of power in that, and I feel like that's a great segue to just even say that. I really appreciate all 3 of y'all because I feel like this was very like funny, informational, and just women being women, and I really hope people get a lot out of this, a lot of mileage, because like I really believe like this is like the wave of like how like shows have to go. Like authenticity is the new currency. So hopefully people laughed, learned.
And we had a whole like girl moment.
Yes, we covered a lot of topics.
My nails look crazy.
Come through.
Don't look.
Come through.
Come to Capital Nails, 10075 Southwest Barber Boulevard. Come get that work.
Men too. You should come get your nails
Yes,
done. There's nothing
men,
wrong with that.
come. All the men, the uncles, the grandpas, the brothers, the dads, the nephews, come to Capital Nails. We got you.
I love my male
safe
clients.
space.
I learned so much from them, like in terms of male perspective. And
Yes.
which for me, I don't get a lot of, because I work very closely to a lot of women, but it's nice. I love when they're like old, old and seasoned with wisdom, and they're just
I
like,
thought you meant actually old.
every time I see Ed, I have a fight with Jimmy.
Okay.
Because he be raising some questions about like, is he taking care of you? Is he doing this? Is he doing that? And I'm like, actually, no, he's not. And me and my partner.
Then you go back home.
But you know what? We always, go through it, and it feels good. And we always come out stronger. And yeah, you kind of need that,
So basically, we need more males to come to
More
the nail
men,
shop,
please give me that
so that we
wisdom,
can better
that
our
male
relationships.
perspective.
Yes, men want it.
I'll just say this. I really appreciate all 3 of you guys, gals.
We appreciate you too.
And I'll just say this. I will be having a very similar conversation with a panel of men. And please, hopefully you all watch.
we will.
Please
We'll be in the comments. Make it live.
Please, I want y'all to keep me honest, because obviously I'm going to be speaking for all y'all when it comes to, because I feel like there's a lot of delusional things too as well that men are thinking
Be
about.
effing for real.
I like that. Be effing for real. Where it's kind of like we're on this planet for too short of a time to be arguing over like small shit.
Right.
But this has been another wonderful installment of Relationship Dynamics, the gal panel.
AKA.
and we're out of here. Peace.
Probably wondering if I think of you. Sorry, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, for the bag that I never had. Yeah, you probably mad right now. Yeah, I got a 2-piece now. Shit, I think they call them groupies now.